got your kids in school, you must hate your kids. Because this sort of shit is going on in all the schools. Transgender, trying to turn boys into girls, girls into boys, trying to teach them sex at ridiculously young ages. Homeschool your children. Now, I know that's difficult, but then again, it depends on how much you love your children or not. It's remarkable how many people believe themselves intellectually superior for repeating what authority tells them. It's also remarkable how school is structured to reward students for repeating what authority tells them. I wonder if there's a connection. Of course there is. It's not a school. Well, it is if you look school backwards. Look up school backwards, what that word stands for, and you'll maybe stop sending your kids to it. Judicial Review and High Court Appeal. Wednesday 26th of April, 9 a.m, Royal Courts of Justice, The Strand, London, WC2A2LL. The right to protect and freedom of expression and speech. Support Debbie Hicks for this important all-day hearing. Truth be told, our government is guilty of crimes against humanity and the mainstream media are complicit. We seek truth, we seek justice. We won't stop until we have both. Stand with us in London, Saturday 25th of March, 1 p.m, Parliament Square. Milk thistle pulls toxins out the body and removes excess fat from the liver. Milk thistle reverses the toxicity of alcohol, pesticides, heavy metals and pollution. It stops toxins from building up in the liver and reduces fat accumulation that damages liver cells. The condition of our blood in the body depends on the health of our liver. As a blood purifier, the liver needs to clean the blood each and every day in order to support nearly every system within our body. 3 years ago, this was our last normal week and nobody knew it. That was the 20th of March, I believe, or the 23rd. But don't forget, 3 days before they locked us down, on the government's official website, they downgraded the bullshit from contagious to just the cold or flu. And then 3 days later locked us down. Never forget that. They knew. Why do you think they went out having parties? Because they knew it was not dangerous at all. They're all criminals and their time is coming to an end. And that day, I will be dancing in the streets. If every home in America and the UK and Europe grew a garden of food, high food prices would collapse within 1 month. Andrew Bridgen. I can confirm that during my visit to Washington DC last Christmas, New Year, I was informed that the US Department of Defense were responsible for both the virus and the poisons. Fort Detrick was named also as a facility in Canada. By the end of the month, I expect to see the start of criminal proceedings against the many politicians and officials who are responsible around the world. Well, let's see. I hope you're correct. But we'll just wait and see, because I'm still not sure 100% whether you're a goodie or just a controlled opposition. So I'm holding my verdict on you. Let's see what happens.
I care little about being cancelled by the media because in the wake of that speech something far more important has happened. I was contacted by thousands of people offering their support and received many hundreds and hundreds of emails from all over the globe recounting to me their own stories of the harms caused in the wake of their or their loved ones' COVID vaccination. I've been contacted by parents in my own and surrounding constituencies thanking me for questioning why we're giving these experimental vaccinations to healthy children and young people that patently do not need them and gain no protection from them. I was contacted by far too many relatives who had lost loved ones suddenly after having the Moderna, Pfizer or AstraZeneca experimental gene therapy treatments shot into their arms. Many of them asked in their emails why this vitally important issue was not being taken more seriously by many of my honourable and right honourable colleagues. That, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is a question for my colleagues to answer. A lot more questions why, as evidence continues to emerge, almost on a daily basis, the fourth estate was so remiss in its coverage. That, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is a question for the lobby to answer. But every one of those who contacted me asked me to keep up the fight, to continue to raise awareness of vaccine harms and vaccine deaths. Mr. Deputy Speaker, that is the question I am here to answer today. Despite the media silence, there is huge, enormous and growing interest in this topic. So today I once again ask the Minister why more is not being done, both in the United Kingdom and globally, to investigate and publicise the clear and well-documented adverse effects of COVID-19 vaccines. Vaccines, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that have made Big Pharma billions.
It is very clear that the head of the snake is the financial system. We can argue till the end of time about who runs the world. Is it the Jesuits? Is it the reptilians? Is it the Illuminati? Is it the Freemasons? We can go on and on and on and on about this, but I don't think it is reasonable to even begin arguing about the mechanism that is used to exert this control. The mechanism is finance. The whole point of finance is to indebt, otherwise to enslave. What is a mortgage? I mean, what does that stand for? It's a death grip. So when you get a mortgage, you have a death grip held over you because you are in debt. You don't even own the house. The bank owns the house that loans you the money to buy the house, unless you're fortunate enough to have all the money to buy it outright. And even then, you can be taxed by the government, and if you fail to keep up with those taxes, the government can then take it from you. The whole system is based on a financial fraud, which effectively takes the power that we have, and it gives it to a tiny group of individuals who are running the world through the control of finance. With the infinite supply of money that we have allowed them to take, they have literally an infinite supply of money, and with that money, and from their psychopathic point of view, they have bought everything and everyone who can be bought. So those of us who cannot be bought, because we operate on a level that goes way beyond the material, we are not rewarded for such behavior, we are punished for such behavior. And the most slovenly, disgustingly criminal, pedophilia, corrupt moral individuals, those are the ones that are rewarded in this system, which is upside down. We reward the pedophiles, we reward the corrupt, we reward the liars, we reward the people with no morals at all, and usually we compromise them under this system in terms of maybe a videotape. Maybe Barack Obama is gay. Maybe we have videotape of him having sex with another man, or perhaps some other acts that may be not so popular amongst many of the electorate. Or maybe we have videos of political leaders having sex with little boys or little girls. If I was in charge of the world and I was a psychopath and completely drunk on my own power, you can bet damn sure that's what I would do. I wouldn't allow anyone in a position of power who wasn't completely compromised. When you have an infinite supply of money, you can do this. Take that supply of money away, take that power back, put it in the hands of the people, get rid of fractional reserve banking, which is an obscenity in itself. Listen to the lessons of Jesus Christ if you're a Christian who got really pissed off when he went to the temple and he saw what the money changers were doing. Let's take back control of the issuance of money, and not just on a national level. I'm happy to see in Denmark that you have your own currency, you don't have the euro, but on every country's level, they should be issuing their own currency in a transparent, non-usury based way in which it really, truly benefits the people. And in that way, we can literally free ourselves of the banking debt which is drowning us all, and we can stop scrambling for the crumbs from the table of these filthy rich psychopaths and live in a state of abundance just by changing this one thing. And I'm not just talking about abundance for Western nations who have an artificially inflated value with their currencies. We all in the West are guilty of having that reward while the rest of the world is sucking on it. Every nation in the world can use a sensible financial policy to liberate themselves, to have world-class education, infrastructure, everything that a healthy society would require can be had in the worst, most corrupt African country in any part of the world. We can all have that if we simply change that one thing. John F. Kennedy did that about 6 months before he was taken out. He issued United States notes as opposed to Federal Reserve notes. I can assure you the powers that be knew the power of that act, and they took him right out. So the bottom line is, if we as people understand this very simple principle, just this one thing, change this one thing, we can solve every other problem you can name. I don't care what the problem is. I can bring it back to the financial system and an infinite supply of money for a bunch of psychopaths who are running the world, as opposed to an abundant supply of money for all of us. So in that sense, I'm very optimistic. This is not rocket science. I am not the smartest guy in the room. We can all understand this. And as soon as we do, we can exercise the same power that we had, but relinquished, and we can have a future for ourselves and our children.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we are doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Do you think most Americans are aware that they're being exposed to substances that are viewed as dangerous over here?
They probably just think, well, if it's available and it's in the store, then it's probably fine.
Stacey McNamara is from upstate New York, but has been living in London for 10 years. She told us raising children on this side of the Atlantic has opened her eyes to what's allowed in food in the US. She has no plans to ever move back home.
And is food safety a part of that decision?
For sure, yeah. How am I going to protect my children when it's just everywhere?
In a statement to CBS News, the FDA said that when used properly, potassium bromate converts to a harmless substance during food production. But at the same time, Nora, it acknowledged that not all potassium bromate may convert, saying control measures can minimise the amount in food.
Holly Williams, thank you.
4 deadly parasites found in poisons. The Hydra vulgaris in Moderna. That one, I'm not even going to attempt to say it, in Pfizer. T. brucei in Pfizer. And that one I'm not going to try either, in Moderna. 5G can't pass through tree leaves, so they chop them all down. Every council should be sacked immediately. Not the workers do their jobs. Well, sometimes anyway. But everyone at the top should instantly be sacked, investigated, and then jailed. I do not consent. This is literally the most powerful affirmation you can use against the cabal. Use it everywhere and often. The more people that declare this with intent, the less power they will have over your reality and over the collective as a whole. I don't silence you because your voice doesn't matter. I silence you because your voice is powerful, as you just heard. And I think this picture speaks 1,000 words. Once you understand that their God is transgender, you start to comprehend why they are indoctrinating your children. You get used to it. I don't even see the news anymore. All I see is governmental directed propaganda, corporate bullshit and subliminal conditioning. The world isn't falling apart. The veil of the worldwide corruption is lifting. Boom! More than 30,000 motorists a month refusing to pay clean air zone fines. Birmingham's City Council also writing off 2,500 CAS fines a month. The people are waking up. 63% of drivers are refusing to pay tolls for the Birmingham Clean Air Zone.
Will and do not pay. We will win. We will win. We will break ULEZ. Break the decar. Drive at will. Do not pay.
What's that? That's it, we're stuck. What have you got? What have you got, young lady? You got Serato, you got DDJ with 4 channels. Wow. Of course. You came, you lied, you cheated, you robbed, deceived, and caused utter carnage. You've got to go now. Right. That is beautiful. Where's the bar? Where's the bar?
Even started, he's exhausted over 5,000 votes and he's using dodgy data which he knows he shouldn't be. More on that soon. So anyway, well done to the organisers, whoever they are. The generation. We're missing out on freedom night coming soon from ULEZ. It's president of control of our own human rights. Break the control. Freedom.
That we will not be shut down. They share the social media sites we have created. They sign the petition. The council cannot deny this is the voice of the people.
Abomination. And the answer to it is on the car is drive at will and do not pay.
That link, you will be able to pick up templates to email our MP and our councillors.
You all collapse. You all took brown envelopes for building permission in Havery. You all collapse. You took brown envelopes for buildings to go up. You've been seen.